Hey y'all, it's Jenni Procopi from chronicbabe.com, and you're here with me today for another AWAP Wednesday. If you haven't been with us before, AWAP Wednesday stands for as well as possible, and in all things, that's what I want for you. I want you to kick ass and take names in spite of being sick, and I know you can. Today's message is pretty simple and pretty blunt. So I want you to hear it from me in knowing that I am giving it to you with the most sincerity and humility and irreverence and loving kindness and joy that I can. So with that being said, here is the theme of today's video. Shut up. Okay, so sometimes we just need to shut up. And like I said, I'm saying that with lots of love and care, and I hope you'll understand a lot of humor, but for real, sometimes we need to shut up. So here's a couple reasons why I think that those of us with chronic illness sometimes need to shut up. Sometimes we are talking too much in our brains to ourselves all the time about our illness, and about how much we're suffering, about how hard things are. Sometimes we're repeating this tape over and over and over again and drilling in how hard it is to live with chronic illness. And that is not healthy. If we spend all this time focusing on the negative, we are going to feel like crap. We're going to feel even worse than we need to feel. Now, I am by no means trying to tell you to be Pollyanna and never have dark thoughts and never feel frustrated. That would be bogus. That's just not reality. But sometimes we get on that track and we're just repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating. So it's good to try to find ways to break that cycle. Sometimes, like for me, a way to break that cycle is to go hang with my friends and their kids. Like there's nothing better to distract you from yourself than a couple of toddlers. I might try to make a piece of art or just color in a coloring book. I might veg out on the couch to some sci-fi. I might go take a 10-minute walk and listen to some like really pumping jams, like really loud, like dance techno music in my head, just to drive out that negativity. Find what works for you. And I know you know what it is, but you might feel kind of disinclined. That's okay. I want you to push against that, and I want you to work on this, because if you are continually repeating the story in your head, you are harming yourself. You're making it worse. So shut up. Another reason that we as people with chronic illness sometimes need to shut up is we are alienating people who are close to us. Now, we have, if we're working on it, great support systems and people around us who really care, or we're trying to build great support systems full of people who really care about us and can help us in times of need. And we don't want to be dishonest with them, but we don't want to turn them off either. Sometimes when we're repeating this cycle of, you know, this is so hard, I am really struggling, this is really tough, here's all the reasons why I'm struggling, here's all my symptoms, here's the whole story of my diagnosis up until today, even if it's 10 years. Sometimes we can really grind it into the ground, you know? And I understand that, because our stories matter. Our stories are important. I'm not telling you to never tell anyone your story, but I want you to start thinking about how many times you're telling it to other people throughout the day. How many times are you repeating that? It's not that they shouldn't know. It's not that you shouldn't ever tell them. But when that becomes the sole focus of our day, it eats away at our joy, at our peace, and it eats away at that of others around us too. And it makes it difficult for them to enjoy the time with us. It makes it difficult for them to enjoy their own life if they're really stressing about us. This is a delicate balance. So I want to be clear. I'm not telling you to never tell anybody. I just want you to think about, are you telling people too much? Are you focusing on it all the time? And in that case, shut up. Finally, there's one third reason that I feel like sometimes those of us with chronic illness just really need to shut up. And that is when we are talking to strangers. when we're talking to strangers and they ask us how we are and we launch into a whole thing about how shitty we feel. Or if we're talking to strangers and something comes up and we start telling them our whole journey of illness. Most of the time, that is not helping us. It's not helping us be advocates for ourselves. It's not helping us enjoy our day as much as we can in spite of all the stuff that we have to deal with. That is focusing on negativity. I live in a big city, so I encounter a lot of strangers throughout my day, and a lot of people ask me, hey, how are you doing? And it's usually like people on the street or cashier or whatever. And if every time they ask me that, I was like, oh my God, I am in so much pain. I have this weird rash that I can't figure out. And I tried a new doctor a couple weeks ago and I'm pretty psyched about it. But I mean, if I went into that with every person who asked me, my day would just be eaten up by stories of illness. Those interactions with strangers are opportunities for me to be distracted from how hard my life is. Because instead of giving them a laundry list of how cruddy things feel, I can instead say, I'm doing pretty good. How are you? And like, they might tell me some cool story, or they might give me an interesting answer, or maybe they just go, I'm really good. I'm glad you're good too. And we can just like hang in that peaceful moment for a second. Again, this is a difficult balance. I'm not telling you to never tell your story to a stranger. I've met people in the weirdest circumstances and told them so much about myself, and they've told me so much about themselves, and I've made fast friends with people. It's up to you to use good judgment about when you're going to do that. I want you to think though, are there moments in your day that you're encountering strangers, whether in person or online, and instead of using that opportunity to talk about news of the day or shared interest or just simply being kind and pleasant to one another, if you're focusing on the illness part of it, I would like you to shut up. Okay, I hope that you're hearing this in the way that I intended. I have this strong feeling there are going to be a lot of comments on this video, and I might have some explaining to do. And if that happens, I'm okay with that. So I really want to hear your thoughts about this. I know that what I'm saying is kind of controversial. Some people think that this is bullshit, and I don't. I love telling my story. I get on stage to tell my story. I wrote a website 10 years ago that still goes and goes and goes to tell my story. It's not like I don't think we should tell our stories. Our stories matter. And telling them with power and finesse at the right moment can convert people into our advocates, can convince people to vote differently on legislation, can convince people to be powerfully out there in support of our causes. But when we tell it over and over and over and over and over and over again, and our life is just this long tale of misery, that is difficult, and that makes it difficult for us to find any peace, and it makes it difficult for us to turn anybody else into an effective advocate for us. I might have over-explained myself this week, but I've really been thinking about it a lot, and now I'm gonna shut up. Okay, I hope you liked this video, or at least found it interesting or thought-provoking. I really encourage you to add your comment below. So if you're not on Chronic Babe right now, head over there and jump in the comments. That's where the biggest conversation happens every week. I would love to hear what you think, even if you disagree. I'm prepared for a lot of feisty conversation. If you liked this video and you want to watch more, there are more than 55, I believe now, on YouTube at our YouTube channel, so head over there. And if you don't want to miss a thing, sign up for our newsletter. You can do that at our website, chronicbabe.com. Every week I share a video or a blog post or some kind of new resource to help you. I give you all links to all our social media channels there where I share stuff throughout the week, and I make special announcements there. Like, I'm working on a book right now, and when the book comes out, there'll be all kinds of specials and contests and stuff, and I don't want you to miss any of that. So head over to the website today and sign up for the newsletter. Okay, that's it for the week. I'm gonna go be quiet somewhere. I'm gonna take my own advice. I hope that you go out and make the rest of your day and the rest of your week AWAP. Mwah. Beep. our symptoms and our struggles and our irritations and the struggle. I said struggle twice. A lot of struggles.